Alrighty guys, welcome back to part 2 of our Trials of Ascension hard mode guide and walkthrough. So today we're going to be doing 11 through 20. So if you have a specific floor that you're struggling with, there will be some chapters down below that you can go ahead and just click wherever you need that little bit of extra help for. Quick disclaimer for anybody that is watching this video, not everyone is going to be able to utilize this exact same team and exact same lineup in order to beat each and individual floor. Everyone's going to have their own strategies. Someone's going to find one monster a little bit more useful than another monster. So take it all with a grain of salt. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment down below. Also, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you've been enjoying the videos. All right, guys, let's hop into floor 11. All right, so let's check out floor 11. In this particular case, this is actually a bunch of these little guys here. We've got these guys and these guys, just a bunch of them out on the floor. So this is a good AoE damage situation. So I'm just going to bring in our boy Genos as usual. Now, you can totally do this without Genos. It's not a big deal. But I'm going to bring Genos because he's fun. And I'll roll with Juno and Ophelia as my support. All right, so as you can see, it starts out in auto mode, and it actually doesn't aggro them right away. So you can just aggro this first line if you want to. These guys are just annoying. That's really the only thing there is to it. They're just annoying. I'm going to switch to the wind staff so I get frozen a little bit less. But that's their biggest thing, is they're just going to keep you frozen. They don't really do any real damage. Now, it could get a little bit tricky if you're a little bit lower power and you aggro all of the bosses or monsters at the same time. That can be a little tricky. These guys do have immunity, so it's a little bit trickier for Genos, but again, any damage monster will eventually be able to chew through this. I also have Juno, so I can just spam this skill and continue to strip off and do damage with that Juno. Again, as a reminder, these Guardian Fox statues will trigger the next stage, which is kind of a nice little change here. It allows me to turn off auto here, obviously, and save up my mana, so that way I have 10 full mana ready for the next wave. All right, so let's do one side at a time here. So all of these guys got aggroed. You can honestly even aggro less of them if you're a little bit more careful than I was. I'm going to stay on my wind staff for now, mostly just because I want to try to not get frozen from these blue golems. I've got Ophelia in the background here just healing me. You could do this with Colleen, you could do this with Wahi, basically any other healer. If you have Juno, Juno is really nice for this because she can just sit there and spam the strip. It's nice for stuns, strips the immunity. Plus Genos just doing his thing. I could probably just sit there and soul link Genos this whole time. And here we go. Let's see. I'll show you we can aggro just some of them. Oh, never mind. Well, okay, it did aggro all of them. At one point, I thought you could aggro just a couple. So one side. Aggro one side at a time. And I'm just going to do a little gather and then final jump. There we go. A little auto. There we go. All right, guys. That's floor 11. Let's move on to the next floor. Floor 12 is nothing too crazy. This is just going to be a little bit slower of a match. There's some shields that are put up by this guy, defense up put up by Valkyrie. The only one tricky thing would be is this one provides a little bit of defense down, so gotta watch out for that, and they stun you. But this one will apply the block harmful effect removal. That's the one that only allows you to heal or cleanse off that buff, or that's the one that only allows you to cleanse off that debuff before you can cleanse off the other ones. So I'll show you that when we get in here. So for this one, you can kind of pick whatever you want. I'm just going to go with sort of a double setup right here to show you guys. I'm going to roll with Ophelia, Genos, and Tessarion. But again, this one is not too bad. As you can see, these cats just absolutely melt, and then you can move on to these green liches. The only thing with the liches is they do put up that little bit of a shield. Remember, any damage dealer that goes through damage mitigation effects, Erna, Leica, Genos, all of those are very helpful in this content. So I'll switch over to fire to kind of finish this off. I did accidentally get the Guardian statue because I aggroed him. So there's that debuff that I was talking about. This one right here unable to remove other harmful effects. So if I go over to Ophelia here and try to cleanse something off, you'll see that it'll only cleanse off that debuff, and it won't cleanse off the other things. It can be a quite scary debuff. So I'm just going after these liches first, chewing through them. If you had Juno instead of Ophelia, that works great too. Juno can strip off that shield. No crazy mechanics here needed. There's no weird healing setup. This one's just is a slow death for this Valkyrie. It looks like the cats came into play, so let's make sure to take them out first. And again, if you don't have Genos, right, then you'll probably just do this a little bit slower. Perna, I would honestly switch to my Perna now. I would switch over. I don't have my Perna ruined right now. They're down here. But at this point is where I'd switch to my Perna to make this go a little bit faster, because the Perna will do a lot more damage to this Valkyrie. As you can see, defense break is not going to help that much. It gets immediately turned into a defense buff by this Valkyrie. But just keep going through, and you'll eventually kill it. All right, on to floor 13. All right, floor 13 is where we get to be a little bit tricky here. The biggest thing here is there is a lot of invincibility between the Jean, the pirate captains, and even these high elementals. They all do invincibility. So the biggest thing you're going to want to bring is a couple things. Your best bets are going to be obviously Genos, Perna, or the Dragon Knight Leica. They're all very good monsters for this because their damage goes through that invincibility. So you don't even have to worry about it. But I'm going to do a run where I don't have any of these monsters, right? Pretending like you don't have any of these monsters. And I'm going to roll with some more 4-stars here. We're going to pick up the Colleen here as our main healer. And she's going to provide Unrecoverable, which can be really nice for this. I'm going to bring around with us this Tessarion, as usual. He's just a really solid damage dealer and defense breaker. And then I'm going to bring in the sneaky pick here, Igmanodon. And with these three, I should have no problem. Igmanodon is really kind of the secret sauce here. If I just continually apply Igmanodon's block beneficial effect, like you just saw, let me turn off this auto, that high elemental will not be able to get their invincibility buff like that one over there just did. I'll switch my wind staff real quick to take out these monkey kings for a second while we got them. Now, obviously, there's a lots of different ways you can deal with that invincibility. You could deal with it with a segment and strip it off or steal it. I'm going to go ahead and apply that block beneficial. As you can see right there, that block beneficial effect, the little bat wings, is going to make sure that that elemental can't put up their invincibility. All right, let's move over to this Guardian statue. Now, if you can, the problem is they are all going to get aggroed onto you. So there's going to be a little bit of an issue with Provoke here. So I'm going to go ahead and apply it to the Jean. And my Colleen will just be in the back, sort of helping me to stay afloat here with the healing. As you can see, there's not a ton of damage happening here. It's just kind of annoying. So there's that Jean Provoke, and so I'm mostly just going to be provoked this whole time. I get an ultimate, so I'm going to switch to Tessarion and do the ult. So I get a lot of damage on that Paladin. And I am just literally going to stay on Igmanodon and keep applying that block beneficial effect, which is right there at the bottom. As long as I do that, that Jean will never be able to put up their invincibility. And they go down rather quickly. You may have to swap over to the Colleen to give yourself a little bit of healing here and there. Actually, as soon as I did that, they were able to find a little window to put that invincibility up. All right, so I'm going to apply that again. That invincibility is going to go off in just a second. And then we'll be able to finish him off. There it is. All right, so as you can see, just in the background, the other ones died as well. There we go. Let's Let's go ahead and apply. Oh, we missed the block beneficial, so we're going to try to apply another one real quick. Didn't get it in time, so we'll switch over to this one. Slice and dice. We missed it again. Make sure your Igmanodon has a little bit more accuracy than mine. Again, these are a little bit slower runs. Obviously, we're using Igmanodon and Colleen, but they are very safe, and they are runs that will definitely win. So there is floor 13. All right, so evidently this one gives some people some trouble, and this is floor 14. We've got the mermaid and the hard. The biggest thing I find with this one is not really the endure issue. So this guy actually provides endure to the mermaids. The biggest problem I find is the shields that are constantly being put on this mermaid here. So I'm going to run a very similar composition here. You're going to see this is a trend, Colleen, Igmanodon, Tessarion. Yes, bring in your Perna. Yes, bring in your Leica. Yes, bring in your Genos if you have any of those things. If you have an Ophelia, awesome. If you have a Juno, excellent. Bring all of those monsters. I'm just kind of showing you that you can do a lot of the same stuff with some of these lower end monsters like Igmanodon and Kali. And then, of course, Tessarion, which is just a solid damage dealer. He doesn't go through any shields or anything, but he's just a solid damage dealer. All right, so we got two important things that we want to keep on this boss, and that is block harmful effect removal, as well as the unrecoverable. So it's the cross and the bat wings. Those two are the most important to stay on. So this guy, this mermaid doesn't do a ton of damage, so I'm not too worried about the healing from Colleen. So I'm just going to stay on my Igmanodon and keep occasionally applying that block beneficial effect. All right, moving on to the next stage. In this case, I am not even going to worry about the Dova. As you can see here, the mermaid puts up their shield, and that's kind of the main thing that's really hard to chew through if you don't bring the right stuff. So I'm going to start going here with the block beneficial effect and the unrecoverable, and just keep that going. All right, we did get a defense break, so I'm going to switch over to my Tessarion, get a nice little ult in there, switch back to my Igmanodon, and just continue going with this block beneficial effect. For me as a cleave, my Fire Staff also provides a little bit of this unrecoverable, the cross debuff that doesn't allow them to heal. So I like to be on my Fire Staff. As you can see, a shield did get through. There was a little break in my block beneficial effects. So we're just going to keep that on there so they can't put up another one after we destroy this one. I pretty much just continue to apply these on cooldown from Igmanodon. I also like bringing my Fire Staff because also it's a Wind Mermaid, so it's going to land a lot more things on this Wind Mermaid. Going to get that boost in accuracy. You certainly could do this by going for the Dova first if you wanted to, but just go straight for the Mermaid. Now we really have no problem with this Dova. We will just continue going. All right, and there's both of those. Again, Secret Sauce, Igmanodon, block beneficial effect, as well as the Colleen, which is the unrecoverable debuff. All right, let's move on to floor 15. All right, so this floor is your Seal boss, Mysterious Giant Statue. Same boss as Seal. So the key here is dots for most people. Now, if you're a little bit higher level, you can totally run, and I'm sure a lot of you have already started doing this. You can run your Perna. You can run your Brandia. Where's Brandia at? You can run your Perna. You can run your Brandia, and you can run some form of healing like Kwahi, or even Ophelia, or even Juno, something like that. But these two together can actually just blow through the boss almost well, they can blow through faster than actually using dots. So actually, Farmer has a video about this if you want to go check that out. Basically using Perna and Brandia to just absolutely demolish the seal boss and totally avoiding having to do dots at all. We're going to do this the old-fashioned way, and we're going to do this with our Tesarion with a little bit of burn. You could bring in Kumar for a little bit of burn. He actually does burn as well. Any monster that does burn is pretty good here. I'm going to bring one that a lot of people have, very easy to build, Tatu. Tatu is a very consistent applicator of the burn dot or damage over time. Remember, this boss, the only way that they die is through dots in most cases. And then this second skill here creates an explosion with those dots. So if you get enough dots stocked up, you can actually press this one and it will do a lot of damage based off the number of dots that are there. And I'll show you that when we get in there. So as you can see, my Tatu has nothing going on. She's skilled up. She's not even fully awakened. Let's go ahead and do that now. She's awakened 14 now. Congratulations. She's barely over 100 CP, and we're going to bring in some form of healing. And for now, we'll just do our 4-star Colleen. All right, let's hop in here and defeat the seal boss. As usual, just sort of dodge a lot of the attacks because, you know, you will die eventually if you continue to get hit by this stuff. All right, guys, you guys have done this one before, so I'm just going to speed up the video until the end. All right, floor 16 is one that gives a lot of people trouble. The reason is there is a lot of very fast damage that comes out from both, first the cruises and then second stage, these ravens. The ravens are honestly probably the tougher one than the actual cruises themselves. So my secret sauce as usual here is going to be the Chloe. Chloe is a cheat code for a lot of stuff, so we're going to bring Chloe in. And then I'm going to bring some form of big damage dealer as well as just sort of a backup healing. I'm actually going to bring Huahi in this particular case. I like Huahi. Her second skill actually does 4 different enemies, so it's a really good way of landing defense breaks and doing quite a bit of damage to these really squishy monsters. So let's hop in here. Chloe's sort of our cheat code. She's in the souling position. Let's hop in and see this first one. So the cruises, I am immediately going to apply my invincibility. As you can see, we started out really close to these cruises. Now, if I don't have the Chloe, these cruises are probably going to eat one of your monsters alive immediately. So I like to hop in there immediately with Chloe and go ahead and pop that invincibility. Now, this second stage is going to be a bunch of ravens. Those ravens will actually go right through this invincibility, so it may not necessarily work for you. But what the invincibility does do is it stops the damage from the main boss, which is the Dark Raven here. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this. And we're going to go through an attempt to take out one of these ravens. We're going to pop another one of these. Again, I'm not taking damage from the main raven. I am taking a bunch of damage from the little ravens. So continue to try to click over here on the left-hand side, clicking those red ravens. So as you can see here, I did a pretty good job. We kept that invincibility up. The invincibility is not going to stop. As you can see, I've got unrecoverable on me. This is where some sort of healing or cleanse would have been nice, and I may not have it. Ooh, I got it just in time. So this is where we're going to keep Chloe on cooldown this entire time. I'm going to pop it again because he can't go through that invincibility. The red ones can. So you can see there was a little bit tricky there. I honestly should have just stayed on Chloe that entire time. And we'll do it one more time just so you guys can see that, you know, this definitely can be repeated. So there's Chloe. Popping the Chloe, focusing on these vampire hunters one at a time. Once you get 1 or 2 of them down, the rest of them can't do a ton of damage to you, so pretty good there. Let's turn off auto. Gosh, I hate that auto is turned on right away here. I'm saving up my mana here. And we're going to go right there. Again, I'm going to keep clicking on the ravens over here on the left-hand side. I'm going to pop another one of those invincibilities. These ravens are very squishy, and they will go down very fast, but you just got to keep that invincibility up. All right, so now I'm just going to stay on Chloe, pop another invincibility, so this raven can't do any damage to me. Now, in this particular case, I am a Cleef, so I am taking quite a bit less damage than perhaps an Orbia or a Soletia. So Soletas and Orbias might have to come up with a slightly different strategy, maybe something with Provoke, in order to take that damage away. But either way, Chloe is pretty darn good in this particular stage. So that is floor 16. Let's move on to 17. Okay, 17 is a extremely annoying one. There is a bunch of shoo-shoos, and we've got the light Beetle Knight Certides here. This is a very annoying stage. These are going to constantly provide immunity and healing, and this guy is constantly going to be provoking you and doing continuous recovery and providing a block beneficial effect on everybody. So really, really kind of annoying. So in this particular case, we're bringing Colleen. We're bringing Colleen no matter what. So Colleen, I'm going to go ahead and bring in the squad. I'm going to bring in Tessarion, and honestly, you could go with any other monster that you want. It's probably fine. All right, take two. We're going to try this one again. We're going to nix and ditch the Igmanodon. He's nowhere near as important. But attempting to find an opening when all 5 of those shoo-shoos are going to work is really, really tough. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to bring in Juno, or you could bring a segment or something else that strips. Maruna also strips as well. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Juno, so that way I can strip and then I can apply an unrecoverable. All right, so now that unrecoverable has been placed, so I just needed one opening. So the thing with Shoo-Shoo is that Shoo-Shoo only applies immunity when they heal something up to full. So if they can't heal the Beetle Knight, then they can't put immunity on, and you can continue to apply unrecoverable. And as you can see, I found that opening. I was able to strip with Juno, and then I was able to continue to apply that unrecoverable. It's really important that you stay on this unrecoverable as much as possible. Juno's going to help get a lot of your mana back, and just keep spamming that unrecoverable, which is skill 1 on Colleen. And you just keep doing this. Tessarion be able to do their defense breaks. We can get attack downs, and all my other debuffs can continue to go through because there is no immunity on the Beetle Knight. So Colleen is once again one of the best 4-stars in the game. Done. Now, arguably, this is the harder part. Nice that I had a little bit of an ult there to get rid of one of these howls. Again, once you've found an opening, gather them all together, do a quick strip, do a Colleen burst here of unrecoverables. And once they have unrecoverable, they can't heal. So that's their biggest weakness, is unrecoverable. All right, so that's the annoying stage 17, or floor 17. Let's move on to 18. All right, number 18 here. This one's kind of annoying as well. They're very tanky, and at this point, honestly, I would just throw in, if you have your Perna, you should hopefully have your Perna by now. Once again, we're going to do this with a little bit lighter of a team. I'm going to bring in the Colleen because these monsters bring in a continuous recovery that's going to heal them. So they're basically going to be healing themselves most of the time, so we need that unrecoverable. So this is a pretty solid lineup. You could swap Juno out for pretty much anything that you want. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the Wahi for extra damage, or extra defense breaks and extra damage. So I'm going to go ahead and immediately throw on that unrecoverable, and we're going to focus down one monster. Again, with two
with 2 damage dealers, essentially my Tessa is your damage dealer, and then my Hwahi is also built to be somewhat of a damage dealer as well. And then Colleen is here solely to provide that unrecoverable debuff. So you may have to throw in a heal from Colleen every now and then. These guys can do quite a bit of damage if you're not careful. As you can see, they did quite a bit of damage just now. Again, if you have a Perna, Perna is your ultimate damage dealer in this particular situation. He's going to absolutely destroy. These are all boss monsters that they can't get CC'd, so Perna will absolutely just destroy these guys. But we're going to do it with Tessa anyway. Okay, now there's 4 of them. So this is where it's going to get a little bit of tricky for a lot of people. You may have to drag a little bit more healing out of your Colleen here and there. Hwahi's in the back, kind of providing a decent amount of healing herself. Make sure you have food buffs too. That's one thing that I have not done, is I did not pop any food buffs. So doing this with food buffs is going to be significantly better. I'm actually going to throw down the Hwahi ult. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does quite a bit of damage. Keep that unrecoverable going so they can't get healed by their continuous recovery. I just realized that the Sky Dancer here is basically throwing magic missile from D&D. Alright, you guys know the drill from here. Keep Colleen going. Occasionally pop in a heal. I'm going to speed it up until the end. All right, we're done. That's floor 18. Let's move on to 19. Floor 19 is quite annoying. There's going to be a lot of monsters that are going to be doing a lot of silence. So silence is going to be a big one. Immunity is really tough to bring. Most people don't have him built, but you can definitely build a Veligul. Veligul is phenomenal. Veligul is going to cleanse off every single debuff and apply immunity. Borrows the power of the sword to remove all harmful effects on nearby allies and applies immunity to team members if this effect is successfully removed. So he will then do immunity, and that immunity will last for quite a while. So Archangel here, the Veligul, is like absolutely the best monster for this particular stage. You can actually see that our fastest person actually did it with Veligul, the Hwahi and the Genos. I do not have my Veligul built, and I'm not going to expect you guys to build your Veligul either. This isn't too bad. I'm going to go ahead and bring my Juno. Colleen is not a necessity here. There's not really any weird healing tricks. We don't really need to bring our Igmanodon for anything weird like that. So I'm just going to bring my Hwahi, Tessarion, and Juno. I would love to bring my Genos, but I'm just going to make this to where people that don't have Genos, which is going to be a lot of players here very soon as more and more players join the game. So really sad that we can't get Genos again. So come to us if you're listening. We need to figure this out. And how do we get some of these monsters back into the game? Yeah, sure. We don't have to name them Genos. You call them something else, just like you do with Sky Arena. But let's figure it out. All right. All right. Let's hop in there. All right. Ton of debuffs. Lots of stuns. I'm going to get the Hwahi going here. Probably going to stick on Juno to do most of my healing. You can also just use Juno for basic damage and for providing those stuns if you have her built on Despair. I have mine built on Despair. Obviously, with my power, I'm able to get away with a little bit more here, but as soon as I get off of this... Oh, she got stunned again. Silenced again. There we go. Heal from Juno. So Juno's going to be the best here, in my opinion. There's a lot of debuffs, and Juno does really, really great when there's a lot of debuffs. So again, this is just kind of one of those annoying toxic stages. Let's do another Juno cleanse here in a second. Don't really need to. There isn't any unrecoverable debuff, so your Hwahi in the background, or even a Colleen or an Ophelia, is going to do just fine here. All right, Guardian statue. Pop a little defense break there. I like to go for this occult girl first because I feel like she's one of the most annoying. Might have to stick on Juno at first a while for its first part because they do a lot. I'm going to go to Wahi for her ult, and I'm just going to go... Get out of the way here. My Wahi is frozen. So I'm actually going to switch to my Wind Staff. That's going to help a little bit with me not getting frozen as much. These little kobold bombers are so annoying. But again, they're not doing crazy amounts of damage, so just stay healed up, bring 2 supports, Juno and something else. All right, guys, and that's floor 19. All right, so for this last one, floor 20, you're essentially going up against the Kabuto boss from the One Punch Man collaboration. This one actually is quite difficult if you're not careful, but I am going to basically Soul Link Juno, and we're going to do this on auto, essentially, because it is quite a long fight. So we're going to go Juno, we're going to go to Saurian, and basically any other damage dealer, for the most part, is going to be fine. I'm personally wanting to bring Perna, so I'm going to go ahead and bring my Perna because this is a boss monster, and boss monsters take a lot more damage from Perna. My Perna usually is soul connected, which is why I have a lot lower stats on him right now. So he's almost done. I got to get him awake in 15. He's got extremely high accuracy because he's on a damage accuracy build at the moment. Because it's my Ethna build, actually. So, and I'm too lazy to swap runes. So I am going to swap my auto to turn on Juno's Soul Link, turn on her ultimate, and I'm just going to leave Juno on Soul Link while we auto this. This will be quite a long fight for anybody. As you can see, though, Perna is going to make very short work of this boss. Obviously, ideally, you're going to want to, keep Juno Soul Linked most of the time. But if there's an ult, I would definitely switch over to my Perna or my damage dealer to use the ult. Alright, so as you can see right there at the end, he did his ultimate, but it didn't really kill me at all, so it's pretty good. Obviously, if you're not autoing, you can just run out of that ultimate and you'll be just fine. So one of the suggestions I would make is that turning off at the bottom, turning off the follow, so that way your monsters kind of automatically by AI just sort of move out of the way when they're supposed to. So that should be a little bit of a helpful tip for this one. Obviously, guys, do remember that there is a large combination of monsters you could bring to do a lot of these different runs. But I think this was fun. I think this was good content. Let me know down in the description if you liked TOA Hard. If you like Trials of Ascension Hard, if you think it's good content, if you think it's good for the game, do you like the shortening of everything? Do you like the challenge that they provided us? And most importantly, do you think that it's good value as in the rewards that are being given? So let me know down in the comments what you think of this new Trial of Ascension Hard Mode content. All right, guys. That's going to be it for me. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment down below with your questions, and we'll see if we can work out a specific team for you to make this work for you. Or if you want more in-depth conversation, head down to the description where there's a link to my Discord, and we can have a more in-depth conversation about your particular account, your particular monsters, and see if we can't help you beat Trials of Ascension Hard. All right, guys. That's all for me. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I have been going live more frequently now, so try to catch me in one of my live streams. As always, guys, I'm Topher Smurf telling you to keep on gaming.